I should probably put a voiceover here for our sponsor. Nah, you can read.
Proven nutrition. Nature inspired. Science backed. Is that it? I got a couple taglines that I can go and just toss in here for variety if you guys like to hear them. Proven nutrition. Drink it. Or else. Now, I heard it was bad when I said it. What's that? I'm fired? Okay then.
It's time.
Hey everybody, I am here with...
Brent Littell.
Okay, so Brent, you just did a seminar over here at Van Nuys, 10th Planet Van Nuys. Great seminar. I have some qualms. The first qualm I have about your very, very good seminar, I'll start with that. Start with the positive, then go negative. You were teaching everybody how to get out of everything I try to do to them, and that was a little upsetting. Do you have a response to that?
Sure. Nobody else teaches it, so I've got to. I mean, how many seminars do you go to where they just focus on framing and escaping? Most of the seminars are going to be the trickiest guard the guy knows how to play, or the guard he came up with last week, because people love novelty and fast-moving things.
Yes. And sometimes the fast-moving things are pretty, and they're fun to watch. They make for good highlights. But to be honest, one of the hardest things to see when you are in that realm is how to get out. Some people never think like, oh, hey, I should try this escape, or this escape doesn't work. But I think you break it down to a really solid and practical level, and you explain it very well.
Yes, I try and break it down actually into steps. And the first step is just safety. Get in a safe posture. And then after you've built your safe posture, get a frame in. Once your frame is in, then you escape. If you don't stack your defense like that, you're going to be flailing, your arms are going to pop up, your gooseneck's going to come out, and you're going to get choked or armbarred.
Yeah, and I mean, so much of what you were applying, you were really good about answering questions, because people always fear being in those less than great positions, and you show them how to make them a much more better, and to get back to safety, I think, is a really good way of putting it. Another qualm I have with you. So when we got the opportunity to roll, and I want to say it was a great roll for one of us, but the hard part about this particular roll is he would show you what to do, and then there was a moment where I go, okay, I escaped, like he showed me. Now I don't know what to do. Now I was like, is there a part 2 of this seminar? Like, I want to go to the Brent Littell, like, what's next part of the seminar, part 2.
Well, of course there's a part 2. I'm never going to give you everything. I got to milk you for money along each step of the way. But the reality is that there's only so much you can teach during a seminar before people's minds just turn into mush and they walk away with nothing. So actually, if you noticed, I actually end the seminar by reviewing every single thing I do just for that purpose. So yeah, there's a ton more. My goal is not to try and pour 1,000 techniques into your brain so you pick up 0. It's to get maybe 5 good ones in there and you walk away with the 5 good ones.
My favorite is when you would be like, okay, good. You did the escape. Good. Now do something else. And I was like, oh no, I don't. I got the escape. That was the thing. That was the purpose. That's it. Roll done. I got 7 more minutes on this. Ugh, it's not going to look good. Brent, I want to ask this because you're one of the few individuals who has a black belt in both gi and no gi. And, one of the people who I know and is dear to us over here, which is Mike Frosto, he makes a big deal about training in gi and trying to be as good as he can in that and as good as he can in no gi. And he thinks that they need to be different systems. Do you have a belief in that? Or like, where do you fall in terms of having a completely different game or maybe one that kind of modifies between the two?
Do judo players and wrestlers train the same? They do not. And so I actually believe a lot of what he's saying is they're different games. I mean, when we're rolling no gi, you're not dealing with spider guard, lasso guard, a lot of de la hiva, or other movements like collar chokes, tying up your arms. So you're going to have different games. If you get good at both of them, you're going to see your games are different. Now, you're going to have some commonalities. Of course, your base, maybe you prefer butterfly guard that works in gi and no gi. But the reality is, yeah, they're split games for the same reason that judo and wrestling don't look the same.
Sure. I just, the joke I always say, though, is that, he'll be like, start here because I wouldn't know what to do here. And I was just like, you don't forget what half guard is. Like, you know what that is. You can't go back and erase what that is. You know what it is. So one of the things I try to tell people is I say, if you're good at no gi, use that to get to your good gi game. If you're good at gi, use that to get to your no gi game. And then be open to things. But for the most part, like I like training both a lot because I feel I'll train no-gi in the mornings, and then I'll make corrections when I'm like, oh, my lapel, thank God I have this back. But I find that people who do train both, it does open something else. How do you succeed, I guess, a little bit better? Do you have any tips for a faster approach in terms of how you're able to succeed at both of them?
I think that game planning for each of your training sessions is one of the most important things you can do. People go like, oh, it's just mat time and showing up. And I say that kind of half-heartedly, but the reality is that you need to have moves that you're trying to execute every time you come in, and then you need to problem solve when you're on the drive home as to why you weren't able to execute it, so that the next time you come in, hopefully tomorrow, you are trying those same moves again with improvement. If you just come in and kind of go, I'm going to allow my jiu-jitsu to go wherever the day takes me, you're never going to get better. So whether it's gi or no gi, every week, I'm working on something very, very specific. And each day through the week, I'm getting better and better at it.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. I also hear you have a DVD, or you have an instructional. They don't call them DVD anymore.
I have two.
Wait, hold on, everybody. Whoa. Okay, what are those instructionals?
So my first instructional I came out was a side control escape instructional with Budo videos, 12 must-know side control escapes. And this is for when people have pinned you and your arms are stuck in your worst-case scenarios. And I also just came out with this past week mount escapes and then guard passing. So it's combined. I have a mount escape guard passing DVD. And the purpose of that was to just work on these difficult places. I show a couple of mount escapes because mount sucks. And I show a couple of really tricky guard escapes from like X guard, single leg X, and some more gi positions.
And absolutely. I mean, one of the things that's so hard for me is whenever you do have somebody in a seminar, I do try to keep it contextual. Where we were, but like there are a couple of positions where I was like, oh, that's gonna set you up nice and half guard right there. Oh, and then you just kind of figure like, you don't want to go to the candy first. You're like, no, I gotta gut it out in this position first, and then I can go to there. But I thought it was so intriguing that in most of the positions you were putting us in when we were escaping, it was to like butterfly. It was toward, having to avoid being in dumb dog fights if you can avoid them. And I thought that was so beneficial, and that's so good to see. So good to know that you now have a second instructional. And where can people go to get that?
Budo Videos carries both of them. So you're going to see them on the Budo Videos website. That's budovideos.com. I believe that the mount and the guard passing instructional should be going on to their digital library through their app on the App Store, and then through on demand at their website as well. And that should be happening this or next week. And what I'm going to do in order to celebrate that is I'm going to give away one free private for people who show an invoice that they've purchased that. I'm going to put all their names in a hat. I'll do it live on the Facebook stream and pull a name from the hat, and they win one free private. They just have to be able to get to me. I'm out in Irvine at Gracie Baja. I'm not flying anyone anywhere.
I was about to say, it's like those contests that are just like, hey, you win a trip to the Academy Awards if you live in California.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. There's some fine print.
Fair enough, but I mean, can I enter it?
You can enter it.
Because I mean, like when I do this interview, if I got it, then somebody might be like, that seems a little shady.
Ooh, yeah. All that underhanded stuff that goes on with the free privates. I know.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking once it hits the 10th Planet News system, it's going to be like, I looked into it and
That's true.
So I don't want to start any conspiracies. I will take myself out of the running, although I was very, very pleased to get the seminar. Are you coming back this way? Are you doing more seminars? If people are interested in seminars, where can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on my Facebook or on Instagram. I'm Brent Littell. That's spelled like Chuck Liddell, except with two T's instead of D's. So Littell. You can get a hold of me there. Yeah, I'm doing more seminars. I'm actually going to be doing a seminar, I believe it's September 16th out at 10th Planet Pasadena. With Eric Ramey and Campella. And I'm going to be doing more and more of them. I'm actually moving my career more towards jiu-jitsu again. I'm going to be opening an academy soon. Keep your fingers crossed. I turned in an application for a lease. We've in our final negotiations. I don't want to say when, and I don't want to yet, but I'm moving forward.
Well, those are some very lucky students, wherever they may be, though you may have to fly yourself out to wherever he is. He's not flying you to him. I just want to say this. If you get the opportunity to take a seminar with him, I think it's very beneficial. One of the things I was very excited to come here about was I saw the exact thing you were posting. I knew you had put out an instructional, and I was excited to see what that could do to help my game, and already just within rolling today. I was telling you, I guess off air, I was like, I didn't screw it up too bad. So I think if I can do it, anybody can do it. Do you have any?
I attest to that, by the way.
Thank you. I've said checks in the mail. So before we sign off, do you have any sponsors? Anybody you want to shout out before we get on?
I just love to shout out Budo Videos. They've supported me through this whole thing and gotten my name out there. And then all my friends and stuff. And then Juggernaut Fitness. So they're the Chad Wesley Smith. He's a power lifter. If you're looking for getting powerlifting instructionals, he has a specific ebook for jiu-jitsu training. He's the 9th strongest man in the world. I train him currently. So you'll see him. He's starting to compete at white belt. Watch out, white belts. But yeah, check him out at Juggernaut Fitness.
Hold on. Okay. I was about to wrap this up. But then you said 9th strongest man. Like, how do you measure that? Is it just by how much they can bench? Is it how?
Okay, so I know that the weightlifting world is going to get a little upset about this. So there's different forms of weightlifting. There's strongman, which isn't really weightlifting. That's throwing kegs and stuff like that. He does raw powerlifting. So that is squat, bench, deadlift. When you combine his numbers, they do a tally. And out of all the people in the world, he is the 9th strongest. He's 6'1", 360 pounds.
All right, let's
and
chat
his
about that.
knees about the size of my head.
They're not supposed to learn jiu-jitsu. I hate to break this to you. They don't need it. Like, I need it. Like, I'm a mid-sized person who sometimes gets pairs with the bigger guys because they're like, you're about the same weight. And I'm like, they're 60 pounds heavier. That's rude. But to teach this gentleman who's already big, already super strong, I'm just saying, well, what does he need that for?
I thought the same thing. When I started giving him private lessons, I was like, oh, we can start with the self-defense stuff. He's like, I don't need any of that self-defense stuff. I'll just pick a guy up over my head and throw him. It's to challenge himself. It's to learn a new skill set. It's the reason a lot of people learn jiu-jitsu, right? Is it's something fun to do. It's something that keeps your mind active and creates a brotherhood with other people. And so he's in it for the same reasons we're all in it, minus the self-defense aspect of it.
When he chucks somebody out of side control and you're just like, oh, it works too. I'm gonna come back and go, let's chat about that. But no, I guess it's a welcome addition because we do welcome everybody, even those who don't need it. Just saying, you really don't need it, but welcome to the family. So anyway, no, I think that's great. We always love it when people come in and they understand how hard the sport is, and then I'm sure he's probably finding out, he's like, oh, little guys could be really tough too, and it's really hard especially they get to do stuff.
The thing is, it's more difficult, I think, humbling for big guys than it is for little guys. The little guys start at the bottom of the mountain, so every step, every butt they kick is a climb up the mountain, right? Big guys start at the top, and at the beginning they get thrown halfway down the mountain and they've got to climb back up, and they're not used to being there. So that big ego check, that's why when you walk into a gym, the average height of a jiu-jitsu guy is like 5'7", right? The 6'2" monsters, they get weeded out not because they're so strong, but because they get paired with someone small who kicks their butt and they go, I don't need this, I just punch him in the head.
Or they take a moment and they go, oh, this is my superpower, this is what I do that's unique, but this little guy is going to do all this Tasmanian devil stuff, so that's his superpower, and they all kind of figure that out. So that's the fun part, Anyway, I guess I'm through making fun of people who are super strong. Because,
it's dangerous.
Well, sometimes I'm going to start a website and it's just going to be called jujitsudoesn'twork.com. And really, it's just for the stories of when you're like using all of your technical skill and then somebody was just like, yeah, they just smashed me. Can't really do it. So we like those stories too. Brent, I want to say thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Again, cannot recommend the seminar enough. It's really, really cool and interesting to see perspective. And I love the fact that you're getting press now from people who want to hear your perspective. And I hope that as you put your name back out there, I think you're going to find people are very receptive, because I think there's a big market for people who feel neglected, who do both gi and no gi, and understand how difficult both worlds are, and when they try to do both. So I very much appreciate your time, my man.
All right, thank you very much. And I forgot one person, which is Jiu-Jitsu Times has been very supportive to me as well. So go ahead and check out the interviews they do with me.
We love fake news at Jiu-Jitsu Times. My friends over there.
I didn't say that. I actually really appreciate Jiu-Jitsu Times.
I know.
There's a little clickbait stuff that goes on. I get it, okay? Watch this purple belt girl beat up a bum in the street. I get it. But it's to draw you in and then give you the real content like interviews with me.
That is the nicest way I've ever heard it phrased. I just say this to the editor over at Jiu-Jitsu Times. I'm like, what's that, fake news? And I come and give him a hug, and he's always like, how dare you, Raph? And I was like, I remember your headlines. I can show you them. Anyway, we love you guys. Avery, Chris, Kit, you guys do a good job. I think that's going to do it for us here. Keep it locked here at verbaltapcast.com for more information, you guys.